Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his Friday guest expert and somebody who's helped him get 30-year money on apartments and office buildings, Mr. Stephen Dow. How you doing, sir?
Good morning to you, Mike. I'm doing fantastic. And yourself?
I'm doing great. We're going to talk about the 50-40-10, which is an amazing creative opportunity. We're going to talk about people looking at it, why it's important. But before we do it, do that little marketing spiel so I don't get in trouble.
Thank you again. Although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel that of my own. So let's get it going.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is going to be very important going forward is investors' creativity. One of the things I am pushing investors to think about in this crash of transactions is terms. I have actually shared on a repeated basis that my team is marketing directly to owners who have owned the properties 15 years or greater, because I am fishing. I only need to do 2 or 3 deals this whole year. Right. And if I can find an opportunity where the seller carries a second 20, 30, 40%, my yield, which is the only metric I look at, explodes higher.
Right.
And you've created, and I'm pushing this idea of a 50-40-10 because I could get in with 10% down. And if you do it correctly, you could get your blended interest rate below 5, and I'm going to shoot for below 4, because you can get a second from the seller at a below market interest rate. So I know people have called you about it, ask lots of questions. I think you have somebody who's in negotiations on an opportunity. Let's just talk about the power of what this could mean.
Well, again, it gives the investor an opportunity for just creative financing based upon the current rate environment. Rates have shot up so quickly, you sometimes just can't afford it, or just doesn't cash flow based upon conventional financing terms, or even worse, hard money for that matter, if that's the case. So in this case, if you're, having to go to non-QM, which typically is going to be slightly higher than conventional.
Sure.
Now this gives you an opportunity to get better leverage and actually reduce the overall, rate as far as with the blended rate. So not only do you get, more leverage, putting less down, but in theory, in most cases, if you're negotiating correctly, then in execution, you'll get the better cash flow because the blended rate is even better than conventional terms right now. So, and even in the combination of a 40-50-10, where the seller carries 50%, and any combination up to a 90% CLTV, that is, basically allowed. So obviously, if the seller's willing to carry even more, and all you got to come in with 10%, that only, makes your property cash flow even better. So there's a lot of flexibility in that product and how you want to structure it, given the, I guess, threshold with the seller's willing to carry and what they're able to carry as far as how much equity they have in the property. So even if we go up to a maximum of, say, 75% LTV on our end, if the seller only has enough equity to carry 15%, you're still good at 10% down. So
I know there's an opportunity that one of our followers is going after. I wish him all the luck in the world. 30 property portfolio. He's going to split it up between 15 and 15. I think that's genius. That's it. I mean, that would be my deal of the decade, right? I would, again, my team's marketing to owners of investment properties. We are specifically looking for owners who've owned more than one, right? So multiples. Right. I would love to buy a portfolio, and I've done it before, right? I bought 2 fourplexes, a triplex, and 4 houses. I would love to do this 50-40-10. If I could buy a 100-unit portfolio of residential, right? I'm not buying commercial. Commercial is broken in my mind. I would do that. And again, the whole idea of this loan product is 10% down, right? When you look at the calculations, 10% down gives you maximum flexibility because you probably have some make ready and some remodeling costs. Probably have to raise rent. So you're buying an asset that's not perfect. I mean, that's what this is going to be. And then you have to be able to position it to the seller, right? Why does the seller care? Well, they're going to maintain income. It's going to be called an installment loan. So that's very beneficial on their taxes. They have a secured position. I mean, it's just all kinds of good.
To go back to the other one run all the time watcher that's in negotiations on that 30 property portfolio. I don't want to give too much information, but the seller was looking at netting after everything $4 million or something like that. So imagine that this year as far as capital gains. So so I think in the concept of the 50-40-10 or maybe a 60-30-10. So they're playing around with different numbers because, you
got to find the sellers comfortable. Yeah.
Right. But at least it gives the investor an opportunity to kind of make an offer that makes sense to them, given the overall circumstances as far as rate environment and how much they just want to put down. And so, it at least opens up more opportunities to participate in different, situations that you might not have had the opportunity to do so because either not being creative enough or, different loan or financing or just not enough money. But either way, I really think that the combination up to the 90% CLTV does give investors a lot of other choices.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a program that it'll, we've been talking about it for 2 or 3 weeks now. I think in the next 3 or 4 weeks, people will find it. I actually have a really strong guess that in the next 6 months, this will be probably the most common phone call you get, because what's happening right now, go back and watch episode 1. The headlines are getting scary. Sellers are now having fear of missing out. People are going to think a crash and all these bad things are going to happen. Unemployment's going to double. More and more sellers will be like, hey, I got to wash my hands from this. This is the only offer I get. Oh, by the way, if you write these correctly, you can pay the seller more and get a better return. It's crazy how these work. So again, there's a couple things I just want to say. You got to find a seller with at least 50% equity.
Correct.
It's not going to play with somebody who has 10% equity. Sorry.
Second,
usually the second will have a balloon. I suggest targeting 10, but I've known people to get 30 year. But again, let's realize most of these sellers are older. Shoot for 10 years. I accept 5, but shoot for 10. Interest only, balloon.
Would be fantastic.
Those are things that I would do.
I think it's in your course, right? As far as
it is, seller financing, the tax. I had a CPA do it, right? Again, one thing I do is stay in my lane. Bob Langworthy, shout out to you. Seller financing, why it's good for them, how to position it. Tie this together with pre-foreclosures. I mean, there's the investors that are prepared are going to dominate.
You're just basically loading up people's toolboxes and just getting ready to go out to war. I mean, as far as using any analogy, just loading up bullets, ammunition.
Come on now. There's more stop it. More tools in the toolbox. We're talking hammers and wrenches and screwdrivers. Let's not get all warmongered. You went on mute again, my friend. You got to tap those earphones one more time. You're on mute. Nope, there he's back. New headphones. You're good.
No. Calls keep coming in, so apologies. It's off my cell phone. We've got to figure out.
People want to get some more 50, 40, 10s.
Well, they're probably watching right now. They're probably calling in on the 50, 40, 10. Sorry.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny. So do me a favor. I know there's a lot of people are going to have questions, which you do a great job of getting back to. How do you want them to reach out? Because again, I think now people are learning how to fish, and then the opportunities will be coming.
Basically, yes, that's all we're really doing is just teaching people how to fish. Because once they know and they understand the concept, it's like, But again, not every scenario. Just do the work. I believe that one website, the one that you can pull the data off of. What's
PropStream.
Thank you, PropStream. Shout out to them. Utilize any kind of tools that allows you any kind of access to that type of data to at least kind of, see who's going to be an opportunity to reach out and have these types of conversations with, because, more often than not, as things go along, if they are in position as far as the seller have enough equity, they're going to see it's a mutually beneficial situation. So I think it's just having the right information and presenting it. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
That's okay. What I was going to tell folks is what I'll do is I'll go find that link. They gave me a link for One Rental at a Time fans to a 7-day trial. Go in it, click on the link, go to the trial. Just go look at all the choices. Pre-foreclosure is right there. Notice the default, all these variables. Go look for equity. One of the things that my team did, I actually had Adam on the show a couple weeks ago, is we're going to fish for 60% equity because we want to market the 50, 40, 10. So all these good stuff's coming. PropStream is the platform that helps you tie all this stuff together. This big data lake that I didn't have 20 years ago. It's amazing. So I'll put the link below so people can use the trial. Steven, how can people find you?
Again, SDAO at velocitymortgage.com. In the subject line, please put the acronym ORAAT, which stands for One Rental at a Time. The body email, just maybe brief description of what you're looking for, or address would be great, or at the very least stating state to make sure that we lend there, your mid-FICO score, and best number to reach you back at in typically 24, 48 hours. I'll be in touch.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.